From the team that brought you the Haunted Files on ParaFlixx comes a new way to experience the unknown. This is the Haunted Files Unplugged, where the lights are low, the stories are raw, and the truth is stranger than fiction. Join Mike Delcoro, Eric Vanderlaan, and their special guests as they dive into the dark corners of the paranormal. From hauntings and cryptids to UFO encounters and everything in between. No filters, no scripts, just pure, unfiltered conversation from the world beyond. You're listening to the Haunted Files Unplugged.
Holy motherfucker! Happy Monday, everybody. We're back.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are. I'm Eric Vanderlaan. I'm your host of the Haunted Files Unplugged radio show, and I got my partner.
What's up, guys? My name is Mike, and I'm your co-host, and we got a great show for you tonight, and I'll let Eric finish telling you what we're getting into.
Well, yeah, we got this dude right here with us. I don't know if anyone knows him, but we got the doctor in the house, Dr. Bill Slevin in the house, co-founder of Paranormal Existence Research Society. I got it right.
Some people don't.
I took notes. Anyway, he's a demonologist and a good friend of ours, and we spent a lot of time investigating, and he's like a walking Bible of the paranormal. That's what I'm going to call it. And Dr. Bill,
how you doing? Thanks for having me on again.
I got an intro for you. You want to see it?
Oh, Jesus, sure.
It's not incriminating. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Here we go. Bam. There you go.
Love it. You guys did a deep dive. You pulled pictures from my Italy trip.
I know. I saw those pictures and like, damn, where is that place? And now you're gonna have to explain that.
That was
that
was the catacombs.
There.
Those are San Gennaro catacombs over in
Wow,
Europe.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any paranormal activity?
No, I wish it was an investigative tour, but I was just there during the day. Interesting place, though. Real interesting place. I would
I can
love
imagine.
to get in there. I wish my amazing manager. I wish I could get into those places at night. Well, you know, I was in Italy for 2 weeks, and
Okay.
it was amazing. But you know, you're there during the day with 8,000 people, and you know, and I learned you don't bring certain equipment with you on your carry-on on the plane. They don't like REM pods.
Oh, really?
It looked like, they thought for sure that was a bomb. They were going crazy at the checkout. They took everything out of my bag, and they were taking piece by piece through the thing. I had to take out one of my magazines to show them who I was and try to explain what was going on. They were not happy.
Well, when we went to the Rock Island esoteric expo,
Mm.
yeah, and when we went to this con, there was a team that flew in from Greece, but they stopped in, I don't know if it was Albania or somewhere. And when they arrived to Chicago, they didn't get their luggage, and they never got it back. And it was all their equipment, their cameras, everything.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
I
Yeah,
always get nervous when I travel, like with all my, you look at some of our equipment and it's,
Yeah.
3D printed with, wires and shit and little circuit boards and stuff. And I'm always like, man, they're going to be like, TSA is going to be like, what in the shit is this? And sure enough, I've never had an issue. I mean, I guess traveling international with it might be a little
It's a
different,
different story.
but still, I was like, man, they're definitely gonna flag me, and be like, what the shit is this?
Well, I put my camera and my recorders in my backpack as my carry-on, and then everything
Right.
else I put in my suitcase.
See, I won't put the stuff in my suitcase because I don't know what'll happen to it there. They get into your suitcases sometimes. I didn't want to try. I didn't trust
Yeah.
that. So
Sometimes
had-
I think I should get that saran wrap and wrap my whole suitcase.
let me tell you, I don't think that stuff works because the same thing with locks. When wherever I just
if
flew
they
last,
want in, they'll get in.
Yeah, I brought I put a padlock on my thing. When I got to where I was going, the padlock was gone.
Yeah, it was
They
gone.
cut it off.
Cut it.
So tonight's show will be on how to travel with paranormal equipment, brought to you by the Ghost Hunter store.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I usually I'll put my gizmos in my carry-on just because.
What? I had the REM pod, I had the DR, I had a spirit box. I think I might have had the Delco goggles. I had a bunch of
Explain
things
that
in
one.
there, and they were like, they took everything out and then piece by piece through the scanner. They didn't know what was going on. The REM pod was too much. The REM pod was too much because that thing looks like a damn bomb. I mean, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Well, what I would have done is in the airplane, I would have put the goggles on and gone to sleep.
Put the goggles on and put the REM pod on my lap.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
These are my sleeping shades. They light up red.
I'd like to say goodbye.
So, Bill, for some of the people that are here in the chat that don't know who you are, could you tell them real briefly?
I'll try. So I'm a world famous paranormal investigator, parapsychologist, demonologist, educator, and now author. I've been in the field for 37 years now, and I have been part of well over 1,000 residential cases. I've been part of 7 demonic cases. My team, the Paranormal Existence Research Society, we're a nonprofit team that goes around and help people, free of charge. I have people all throughout Florida, Georgia, Nebraska, Indiana, the UK, Italy, and Greece. And we go in there. We're very skeptical on a lot of stuff we do. We don't go running around and screaming at everybody and whatever. We want to, when we're helping people in their homes, we want to find the best answers for them. We have so many different. I have a licensed psychologist on my team. I have 33 years in the IT field. So, we have a lot of different types of education on the team so that we could try to help people in the right way. I've been on a few shows. I've been on Discovery and Travel Channel and a few things, but I do enjoy doing the public stuff, as you guys know, because we go out, you guys, but we are real focused on the residential investigations.
Well, I get your rejects from your residential cases, and all I got to say is, I know Bill Slevin, and click. I'm like, that's even better. I don't have to deal with them anymore.
Well, we know one person specifically.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. There are a lot of people out there that claim they got things paranormal, but they need some help.
Always demons.
Help.
Always demons.
Yeah.
And doing residentials is it's tough. It's not like it's not all fun and games.
Mhm.
No,
You know, you get into some really dysfunctional stuff sometimes. So it's not always paranormal, and it's hard. You know, it's not easy being able to tell somebody, hey, listen, you know, I don't believe what's going on here is paranormal. They don't want to hear that. They want,
right.
you know, and it's a hard thing to tell somebody, like, hey, listen, you have a lot of dysfunction here, you have a lot of stuff going on, you need to kind of get, you know, seek some different kind of help and things like that. And a lot of times, you know, telling somebody that will, in lack of better words, piss them off, you know,
Yeah.
because they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, they think that it's going to be like ghost adventures in their house, you know, a lot.
Right.
You know, they don't realize that the proper way that we do things, you know, because we work very similar as to the style that you work.
Yeah.
You know, we'll do a preliminary. We don't do it in front of the client. You know, we'll
Right.
different things. You know, and you don't want to be listening back to EVPs with them standing there, because if they misconstrue something and they hear something and they get, you know, freaks them out even more. You know, it's, people think it's just fun and games going, this is people's lives and this is their
Yeah.
home, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
know, and they're calling you because they're scared.
Yep.
You know,
That's why I'm so picky of who's on my team, because it's not about how much experience you have. It's about your compassion and how you can deal with people, because we have to make these people comfortable enough to tell us the things they don't want to tell us. People
Yeah.
don't want to tell you they have a mental illness because they think you're going to go, well, there's your problem. And that's
yeah,
not what we
and
do.
and that's not always the case,
Yeah,
because
No.
sometimes it'll work hand in hand, right?
exactly.
If there's drugs or something involved, it doesn't mean that there's not something paranormal going on there,
Exactly.
because paranormal is drawn to dysfunction and things of
Yeah,
that as well. So sometimes you might have a case where there is drugs involved and paranormal, and you got
exactly.
to kind of weed between the two and figure out what's exactly going on. And then there's
Right.
sometimes where it's only there is paranormal, and maybe, you know, not so much mental health, but then sometimes it's the other way around. So it's or there's some kind of a logical explanation, where, you know, a lot of people might, some newer teams or things like that are like, oh, you know, a residential case, you know, it's, then they treat it just like any other investigation. They go over there and start cranking on a spirit box or something, you
Yep.
know, and and they don't understand that you could really damage somebody's psyche.
Yeah. If
You
you're a
know?
Big
weekend
time.
ghost hunter, you shouldn't be doing a residential case.
No.
And the last case that Mike and I were at, I mean, it wasn't, it was drugs, but the paranormal was coming through the drugs. So it
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
paranormal. And it was a hairy situation. So you got to be real careful. You don't know what people you're dealing with, no
Yeah, and
matter
that's the other thing, is
how
you're putting
well.
yourself out there too. You're putting
Yeah.
yourself in somebody's home, the residence, you know.
Yep.
Um,
If I say it all the time, I encourage people, you want to do this, go out and learn how to do it and everything. But going into a person's home, completely different, because
Mhm.
if you don't know what you're doing, you could harm you could harm your team, you could harm the client, you know, because like
Yep.
I tell people, 70 to 80% of our cases are not paranormal. They're mental health, addiction, fear, grief, trauma. There's so many different things. And like you said, you can seriously damage people, because if they have an illness and you didn't know enough of how to look into that and figure that out, and you tell them there's a ghost or a demon in their house, when you cleanse the house, you're not fixing their illness. So when you
No.
leave, they're worse. Some of them will harm themselves, because now they think something's trying to kill them. You know,
yeah.
it is a dangerous thing. And if you learn from watching TV shows, you shouldn't go into a person's home until you worked with people who have done that before,
Mhm.
because
I
it's
mean,
very different.
Mike and I have walked in the scene, shotgun shells laying all over the place, blood spattered from people shooting up.
Yeah.
It can get
It's
hairy.
dangerous. It is. It can be
Yeah.
very
I
dangerous.
mean, we've been to another one even before that one, Eric. Remember, we even went in there, and this guy was like, you know, obviously we don't want to talk about any individuals or anything of that nature. That's why we keep it very broad, because everything that we
Right.
do, if you ever reach out to us or any reputable paranormal team or something that's looking to help, they're never going to record it, put it out on social media or talk about it, because they
Right.
want their clients to respect them, and to
Yeah.
you know, a lot of times you want it to be confidential,
Me
because there were, you know what I mean, like they might not know,
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, I don't know, how my family's going to react to me thinking about this, or things of that nature. So we want to keep it confidential. But there's been times, where we've been to cases, and then we had a guy that like sketched out his whole house and had like exit plans and all this stuff on his walls with like pencil and like just
China cabinet with chains and locks on it.
Yep.
And
there's
weird.
So much you
stuff out
encounter.
there.
Yeah, so much you encounter that people don't realize. I always say, like, I like the TV shows. I enjoy all the shows and everything like that. But the only thing that some of the big shows have done is when we go into a person's home, that's what they think is coming in. And when we tell them that they don't have anything, they're pissed. Some of them.
Oh, yeah.
And
they'll look for someone else to come.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll keep going. I had a person, and the person.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Because people don't understand that the paranormal community is it's a big, but it's small. And and even though, especially in a state, we all talk to each other. So, one guy is calling one guy, hey, I didn't like the outcome, and then they're calling another team, and they're calling us, and we're calling them, and they're all like, we all know about this one particular person. Now he's kind of blacklisted as a bad guy, right? I mean, in between us, because we went in there, we did our thing, and then he didn't like the fact that our outcome, so then he was just looking for other teammates to give him what he kind of wanted to hear. Just like if you go to a doctor and you don't like what that doctor had to tell you, you just keep going to different doctors until one tells you you're fine. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's okay to get a second opinion, don't get me wrong, but if you keep searching and searching for what you want to hear, then that's not very good for yourself,
Right. And the one specific person I'm thinking of, I went back to help this person specifically because they were calling everybody, and telling them stuff. And I knew what was going on there, but I went to go help again because I told the person, I said, I will come back and I will check again for you, but you have to promise me you're not going to go keep looking for teams. I said, because all you're going to do is go from team to team to team until you find somebody who's going to agree with you. And then they're going to make things bad for you. I said, it's not worth it. It's like we say, it's not what you see on TV, when you do a residential. Like, look, we all have a ridiculous amount of equipment. I know there was a challenge with the recorders recently from one of my teammates, Allison. But we don't use, well, at least I don't use 90% of that equipment in a person's home.
No,
it's not reliable.
We don't either.
It's not reliable, so,
your main equipment's your brain, especially in a residential case.
Yeah, it's very.
I mean, if you we use certain recorders, certain things like that, but we don't use any we don't use ITC devices in a residential because they're too vague. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like during a regular investigation, if you want to use it, that's fine. But in a person's home, you just want to stick to what is going to be rock solid evidence.
A public investigation is for fun and for research.
Yep.
Where a private is to help somebody. So it's way different. I always say, I'm not going to come in their house and say, listen, you have a ghost because I have a stick figure on my SLS camera, exactly. So you can't do that, but people don't realize. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why we gave up Univision, because they would send us stories. I'm like, nuh-uh, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happens. Sometimes you got to turn down things if you are, a
compromise your integrity.
Yeah, you don't exactly, Eric. You don't want to compromise your integrity, exactly. Right. And sometimes the saying no is hard, but you got to do it.
I'll tell you something. It's one of the things I'll just say with my book, Living Life.
That book.
I was just going to get into that. That was going to be the next subject.
I was going to say that's one of the reasons. So this book took me 3 years to write. I'm sure you remember hearing me talk about writing this damn book for like years. Mm-hmm. I went back and forth on, what do you put in? What don't you put in? What's important? What's not? I'm like, I have so much over my life in this. I didn't know what to do. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to make this a book of ghost stories. I don't want it just a case book. I have some of my cases in there. I do. But I wanted to let people get an idea of what it's like to do what we do, because it's different. So there's a lot of personal experiences in there. There's a lot of stuff in there of what we deal with after the case. What happens?
Can you show us the cover and tell us the title again?
Yeah. Living Life Haunted. So
do you have a chapter of that time where you got scared and I had to hold you?
No, that's
so that's a thick sucker. That's a thick son of a bitch.
Let me tell you something.
That's not a little
pages.
That's not like a little paperback like this. That's a serious book.
No,
is the text like this big, or is it?
No, it's not. You should see how much I had to keep cutting. Yeah, there's a few. You had to see how much I had to keep cutting out of it because I'm like, it's too big. And then also, you know what my biggest problem is now? They were flying me all over. I went to Canada, Tennessee this year. I was all over the place. Try to bring these to a convention on a plane. I put 20 books in my bag, and it's the whole 50 pounds already. Yeah, they're like a pound and a half, these books. But I wanted people to honestly get a feel of what it's like, do what we do, see the dangers that we encounter, things that we deal with that you don't necessarily see on TV all the time. And it has a full journey of my life in there.
That's awesome.
It's
good on you, man, because that's a lot of work. I mean, I know it's a labor of love, but it is a lot of work. And it's something I always kicked around doing, and I always said, it's too much. It's too much for, you know what I mean? But no, that's very fascinating. And I'm sure that, a lot of people that are paranormal enthusiasts or people that are just wondering about like what it is that we really do. And there's my Ring camera's going off. So
DoorDash has arrived.
Yeah. I think my wife is just got home. But I mean, it's wild, and especially the fact that there's guys like you that have been doing this for a really long time and take it very seriously and have done the research and done the things and know kind of what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to say, and especially even during lectures and different things. And it's perfectly awesome seeing. I see like a lot of other teams popping up, that are getting out there and want to do some investigating, have some fun with it. But like you said, there's certain things that you just kind of want to put on the back burner until you get a little bit more. And I'm not just saying that to just to say it, say it's just.
There's a whole chapter I have in there about the dangers of this, and it talks on both sides. It talks about the demonic. It talks about problems you can have if you provoke and do things, but it also talks about the things for people who are trying to do the public stuff about going into abandoned locations and things. And people don't realize that there's environmental dangers and cops.
Dogleg Correctional Facility, the prison chapel.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this the other day. I'm one of our episodes, and a girl just got killed. She went to that old military base in Montauk because of the Stranger Things show,
right?
So that's kind of been more popular, and people have getting out there and doing some urban exploring. And she was on the roof, and it just collapsed. It was just an old building, and she didn't make it.
That's crazy.
I think that happened in Miami too at one of the hospitals.
Yeah, it's the one right there by the Golden Glades.
Yeah, I talk about like if you're gonna go to a place like that, I'm not saying you should try to get permission, but if you're gonna go there, even with permission, you need to go there during the day when it's light out to scope the whole place out where you're gonna be, because you don't know at night in the pitch black if there's gonna be a hole in the floor, if there's gonna be black mold in the building, if there's so many things. And then you have like when we used to go to
your ass may get shot by somebody.
Yeah. You have gangs, you have homeless people, you have all kind of people. And that was a 280-acre prison. I mean, it was like in the middle of the sugarcane fields. There was nobody there. Cops didn't go in there.
There were some gangs like making their presence known there as well.
Yeah. Well, Belle Glade is one of the most gang-infested cities in the country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, it was dangerous. You had to be careful. One of the first times I went there with a few of my new teammates at the time, we all had to get out of there because we went into one of the cells. We were there for a while. It was probably 1 a.m. We were going back into cell block A, and as soon as we walked through the door, you heard one of the cells. So you heard, the door opened and you heard like running, and I said, this is not a ghost. I said, we got to go, because you don't know who it was. If they were running toward us, we didn't know what was going on.
Also, mold, asbestos. I know my lungs are contaminated. They don't matter if I'm a smoker, so whatever.
And what you learn at the prison, what you don't know at first, is it was infested with barn owls. And if you don't know that, and they start screeching at 12 o'clock, in the morning there, you need to be prepared for that, because we didn't expect that.
Perfect example of that with Scotty Burns. We were in cell block B, and it was the first time she saw one of those owls. And I swear to God, the wingspan, they stand on their feet. They stand straight up, and the wingspan must be like 6 feet at least.
Yeah,
they're huge, and they shit on you too because they're up in the rafters. So she saw it and didn't know what it was, and she went and pulled out her firearm and like at the back step, and that's the first time I saw Scotty do something like that. It was pretty funny, and I'm like, Scotty, it's an owl.
Well, that's what happened when I was there with Daniela, Allison, and David. The first time. They were brand new to the team, and we were there, and that's when we heard somebody. And you hear me on my recorder when you play it back. You hear me telling David, I go, run. I go, guys, got to get out of here. I go, David, grab the camera. I'm trying to get my gun, because I didn't know who it was. And you got to be careful. It's they can be dangerous places.
Gulfstream. When we used to go to the Gulfstream Hotel, we used to have to clear out the place. There would be people, and we would
a lot of times that's what I use my thermal for.
Yeah.
When we're walking up to a place like that, from a little bit of a distance, you could see if there's a person walking around there, they'll pop out like that.
Exactly.
Sometimes
it's dangerous for everybody. It's not good for them, and it's not good for us at popping out in the middle of the night.
If you watch the video from where we went to
Ortona,
Aerojet in Miami and in the Everglades.
Yeah.
In the video, Trapper Mike gave us permission to use some of his footage from when he first went out there the first time and found some of the satanic worship stuff. And you could see an alligator. He filmed an alligator coming up and biting his GoPro. So so that's in our episode actually. So you got all kinds of critters out there and everything as well.
Yeah, you don't know.
Well, we got a nice surprise, Bill, that we want to show everybody.
Oh yeah,
we got an announcement, right, Mike?
We do.
Yeah, it's bill time. Time to pay the bills. Or no, wait, we got a few more minutes.
No, it's okay.
Maybe I'm more excited than anybody.
I'm pretty excited. I think if you're talking about our new episode coming out, that's
yes, sir.
All right.
So
we gotta pay some bills, and not this bill. I mean, like actual bills. We gotta we got to show a couple words from our sponsors, and we'll be right back, Bill. What's up? Mike and Eric from the Haunted Files here, and we got these pieces of paranormal equipment in our hand. Why is that?
Because we want to give a big shout out to the Ghost Hunter store, our sponsor, and you might see some of this equipment on your favorite ghost hunting shows. Is that right, Mike?
That's right, especially the Haunted Files on ParaFlixx.
And we're going to give you a special code for a discount on these devices.
That's right. So if you go to the Ghost Hunter store, you go to the website, when you check out, if you enter the code Ghost Gone Wild,
not Girls Gone Wild,
that's right, you get a discount on your purchase. So check them out. They're your one-stop shop for everything paranormal.
What's up, everybody? I'm Eric, and this is Mike from the Haunted Files. And Mike, we got something special to tell everyone, right?
We do. We have an amazing product here. This is from Haunted Happy Hour, where they make spirit-infused coffee. And what's cool about this product right here is it's the Haunted Files edition. It's a Dark Isles brew.
Yep, and it's got a blend of Irish cream, pistachio, and dark rum. A perfect blend to awaken your dark side, right, Mike?
Hell yeah, it is. And if you're feeling sluggish or you are ready to investigate all night, this is for you, man. And it is amazing tasting. And not only that, but what did ParaFlixx do for us and for the fans?
Well, you're going to get a special discount code that's on the package, and you're going to be able to get 3 months for free ParaFlixx. And who can they watch, Mike?
Well, they can watch us and all the other amazing investigators on the ParaFlixx platform. So get yours today and make sure you check out ParaFlixx and the Haunted Files.
And if you're feeling dead inside, get caffeinated with Haunted Happy Hour.
Are you ready to explore the unknown?
Eventually.
Brace yourself for a journey into the supernatural. ParaFlixx Paranormal Plus, your gateway to the paranormal, all-in-one streaming service. Dare to explore, dare to believe, dare to stream alone.
It does not want us here.
Sign up now and embark on a supernatural adventure like never before. ParaFlixx Paranormal Plus, the universal home of paranormal.
All right. And if you guys are unaware, which I'm sure you are, we have season 4 coming out this January 23rd, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be episode 1 of season 4. I can't believe it's 4 seasons already. That's wild to me. And this investigation that we're starting off with in this this series was bananas. It was absolutely bananas. What a killer episode this is going to be, and I'm super excited to show it off and to get people's reaction to it. Yeah, we investigated, and we also had a couple special guests, Mike Gagliano and Mary Lynn Bast from Para with the Normal. It was a super exciting and awesome investigating with those great people. So, but I'll stop talking and let the trailer do the rest. So I'm gonna throw it up here, and you can watch us on ParaFlixx. So make sure, if you like what you see, check it out. There's some free access to start off, and don't forget the coffee there as well. So here we go. Welcome to the Haunted Files, and tonight we're investigating this massive battleship. Eric, where are we?
Well, we drove all the way up to Wilmington, North Carolina, and we are on the deck of the USS North Carolina. Seen a lot of battles during World War II in the Pacific.
Yeah, and we're going to get in there and see if we can find any of this paranormal activity that they've been reporting throughout the years on this vessel.
And we got a lot of work cut out for us tonight.
We sure do. Let's get it.
What kind of paranormal experience have you had here?
I've got a lot of them, but just to give you a couple examples, I was able to see one of the brig doors just open wide and close all by itself, as if somebody just walked out of it.
Wow. What was that?
What was that?
What was that?
What was that?
You're recording, right?
Yeah.
That was a loud thump.
Hello? Holy shit. Mary Lynn is a world-renowned psychic medium, and we're going to have her kind of lead some of the way.
Yeah.
And we're going to have her kind of feel out what's going on and see if she can lead us to any of the areas that we might capture something.
All right, I'm excited. Let's do this. You've ever been here before?
What's happening? It's happening.
Okay. I'm good. Woo.
Oh boy. Should we go to the med bay?
No, I'm good.
like being pulled, or you feel dark, or?
Yeah, there's been a lot of deaths in here because whenever I was standing right there, it's just blood on the floor. It's like someone.
That's what you saw in the vision?
That's what I saw. Yeah. So
wow.
Someone actually bled out right here.
I heard there's a story about a sailor who died when it was hit by a torpedo.
There are 4 that died, actually 5.
Okay.
4 of them died in the torpedo area where it hit below the area where they were. 23 were injured, and 1 was washed off deck. This was a 1,000-ton torpedo.
Yeah, my name is Mike. I'm actually
You're not supposed to be here.
It's the first time we had a comedian.
Yeah, a real one.
We got a good lineup this year. I mean, this season, that's for sure.
Yeah, that looks cool. I'd love to check that place out.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, you heard that slam, right? That sounded like one of the doors slamming shut. Like, unbelievable.
Those doors are heavy.
Sure are.
They're very heavy, and it's hard to slam it like that. And we hadn't even started. I mean, we were just taking our equipment out, and that's how we started the night. It was just wild. It was a very cool ship. I mean, never investigated a ship before. Always wanted to, and it did not disappoint. That's for sure.
And
nautical guy.
What also was very strange was the Delco experiment. We were down a couple decks, and you don't get radio reception in a steel cam like that. You know what I mean? So we were getting some really weird stuff. So, but yeah, it was awesome. Anyway,
Mary Lynn is like a really good psychic medium. She like knocked that Delco out of the water. No pun intended. Go ahead, Mike.
Nothing. I was going to say, let's bring some of the attention back to our guest here, Dr. Bill Slevin, everybody.
Damn it.
Yeah. So back to this book. You got a hell of a book there with a ton of pages, and tell us a little bit more. Tell our guests a little bit more what they can expect if they purchase this book from you, and they can get it on Amazon, right?
Yeah, you get it on Amazon. I'm gonna have it on my website soon with signed copies, or any events I do. I have it with me.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's so. One of the things I did was at the beginning, I'm explaining a little bit of what it was like getting into the field, because for me it was different. I started when I was very young. I was drawn to this, and it was not easy. Let's say when I was like 10, 11 years old, 1980, 1981, you couldn't talk about this stuff. It wasn't like you could. You couldn't just go find
satanic worship. Go listen to Ozzy, damn it.
Exactly. I grew up in a Catholic household. I couldn't really talk about this much.
You were singing Mr. Crowley.
Yes. But it wasn't easy. You didn't have TV, you didn't have internet, you didn't have YouTube. You couldn't find info. You had to go to the library. And there was very limited books back then. You had some of the Warrens.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. You have some of the Warrens, you have some Hans Holzer, you have a lot of different things, but there wasn't a lot to do. So it was very different from me starting into the field. We used different methods back then. We used to hang little regular bells on cabinet doors and use flour and a lot of different things than a lot of the technology we have now.
What's funny is I just bought but you can't buy one bell anymore. You have to buy a bag of like 50. So like from Amazon. So I just bought like Jingle Bell, like a whole box. I have like a whole box of, and I tied a bunch of little fishing string with like little loops. And I've been hanging those around too, like while we're investigating with a still camera and some stuff like that, kicking it old school a little bit, breaking out the old compass and some of that stuff.
I do it hippie style. I like the little beads that,
he puts them in his hair. He's got like little dreadlocks.
The little beads, like from the 60s, like little.
Were you guys there at the old building where we go to all the time, or my place there, and in the one room where she had all the little crystals hanging on the window. Were you there when they all started swinging?
I wasn't. No.
No, I don't think I was in that room. What room was that?
That was the
Is that
human
where you
resource
were?
room.
Okay, that was on the first floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we also did the Delco in there. We had a lot of people there, Joe, and a lot of people were there. And that's one of those times we had something we could not explain at all, because Rob's sitting there with Delco on in the chair, in the person's chair, and we have the power cut to the building, and all of a sudden you see a flash of light behind him, and it was right when, because this was the lady who was our human resource person, and she passed away, not in the building, but she passed.
Is that where you walk in through the lobby and you make a right?
Make a right and then a left, into the room.
Didn't you see something there when we were there? When you were there that one time when we made a right, like down by the stairwell
at the end of the hallway? That shadow figure stood there. It was about 7 feet tall, and it just went straight across into the room, right over there. And it was funny because I was with one of my teammates, Ella, and she was behind me. We came down the stairs on the one side, and I opened the door. And as soon as I opened the door, I saw it, and it just flew across the hallway. And I turned around and I looked at her. I didn't say where. I turned around and I looked at her. And she goes, "What the hell was that? Was that a person?" I go, "No, that wasn't a person." That wasn't a person that we were with. But there's been a lot of activity there. But this flash of light, and we have it on camera. We captured it multiple times.
Wow.
It almost looked like it came from the ground and went right up to the ceiling. There's no power in there, and we could flip the light switches, nothing, but yet it came out of where the light was. It went and like you see everybody get up going, what the poor Rob, you don't know what the hell's going on. He's got the Delco on and he's still yelling stuff, and we're all walking around him, we're pointing up, and because we could not figure out where this flash of light came from. We were flipping the light switches. It was dead. There was no power in that room. And it was pretty impressive because we didn't know, everybody was trying to decide where that could have came from, and it doesn't make sense. But it was right when, she passed away, not in the building, but she was somebody who would be attached to this place. And I said, "What are you going to do when the new people move in?" Because somebody was supposed to be buying the building. And as soon as I said that, that's when the light flashed. And it did it multiple times. We caught it multiple times. So it was pretty interesting.
I always wanted to do a Delco session and have everyone disappear from the room. And then
I did the same thing. Same thing. We were at the Devil's Tree one time, and I forget who it was. I think it was one of my teammates. I don't remember if it was you. I think it was you, Donnie. He had him on. He was sitting at the tree. It was in the middle of the night, in the middle of the woods. I'm like, we should all leave.
Right.
He'll eventually take them off, and he'll be sitting there by himself in the middle of the woods, and he'll freak out. Not leave for good, but
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Definitely pull a pretty good prank on somebody like that because you can't hear, you can't see.
That place would be perfect.
All of a sudden, just put
leave.
up like some fake walls around
right.
Leave, they're like, what?
The best is when you're doing. Now I'm sure you guys have experienced this. Anybody who put the Delco on, and they're new to this, or new to ghost hunting, or anything like that, investigate, whatever. When you tap them out,
they freak out.
As soon as you tap them, they're like,
they're jumping.
It's great. It happens every time. It doesn't matter
because
who
you get so deep into it, and you're just out of it. Like you're just in another place. You know what I mean? Like you're really, it's just almost like if somebody, feel like you were sleeping, and somebody tapped you.
My sister said she's in HR, and we're giving her some ideas.
So definitely your senses are heightened. So when somebody taps you,
Bill, we gotta get you doing that with the Delco and the transcranial mixed in there, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
we've been upping our game a little bit with the Delco because we want to go to the extreme. We want to push limits and see what's next that we can add to the Delco. And I've been really busy and I haven't really had much time, but I want to integrate more of this transcranial direct current stimulation.
Right.
I have a quick little 1-minute clip I put together, and I'm going to show you kind of what it is that we've been doing.
All right.
Transcranial direct current stimulation, TDCS, is a non-invasive neuromodulation technique that involves applying a low electrical current to specific areas of the brain through electrodes placed on the scalp. This method aims to modulate neuronal activity and has gained attention for its potential in cognitive enhancement, rehabilitation, and treating various neurological conditions. The electrical stimulation is believed to influence neuronal excitability, promoting or inhibiting synaptic activity. While TDCS shows promise in enhancing learning, memory, and motor functions, ongoing research aims to better understand its mechanisms, optimize protocols, and explore its therapeutic applications in conditions such as depression, chronic pain, and neurological disorders. The Haunted Files team is going to test this method in conjunction with the Delcoro experiment to see if this will help communicate with the afterlife.
That's
So
pretty
it's
cool.
yeah, it's these two little transceivers, if you will, and you attach them to your skull,
Right.
and you can set the millivolts, and it sends out the frequency into almost like the God helmet kind of a deal.
Right.
And
Right.
we've been doing that with the Delcos on and the transcranial, and it you feel it. I mean, you feel it zapping you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's really like, if you think that the Delco upping it from an Estes, this is like another notch, even above that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check it out. But if I tell you it's going to be like the hypnosis and stir echoes, and I get trapped in that in that state,
Right.
I'm coming after you.
So we did a lot of research and looked into it. Nothing dangerous. Nothing dangerous there. So yeah.
You know what? I didn't mention this to you, but I heard I had a friend that had their kid do a neurofeedback to treat ADHD.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I mean that whole shock therapy and everything like they used to do, obviously, I mean they still do it today and it works. Just not at the the level that they used to do it. Like they're like, all right, let's just crank this all the way up as far as it goes, see what happens.
Well, Mike, then the next thing Mike's gonna throw me in a like a water tub, like a tube, like you're like Stranger Things, and I'll be like strapped with a Speedo and like all these probes all over me.
Actually, you know what, Eric? I should make a pair of waterproof ones, and then I'll float you around you can float around in my pool, and we'll do.
There you go, and you got the cool lights too. You got the cool
the red.
Can you make it strobe?
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Strobe. Oh, there you go. Ooh, that'd be a cool idea.
That
On the next episode of the Haunted Files,
right.
We're gonna be in Mike's pool.
Mike's in the back barbecuing ribs. In there.
I definitely want to be on that episode.
Yeah,
right. We'll bring Bill. Bill's just down the street.
You know, I've always wanted to do a float tank. You know, they're around. They call float therapy, and they put you in a little tank. I might need an extra large, but they put you in a tank like with the salt water, so you're a little more buoyant.
Yeah,
and it's just like a little red light that comes on in there, and you just float, and you're by yourself, and the lid closes, so you're like in like a little egg pod, and you're just floating in there, and it's just
as long as you're not claustrophobic, you're all right.
Yeah,
you'll see Mike and I traveling to film at haunted locations with the trailer with the egg in the back of it. You know what it is, right?
Yeah, that would be sick to have one of those, and
bring that to a convention, right?
Right.
Actually, we'll be at the Gettysburg Bash. We'll be presenting the Delco experiment there.
Yeah, we will.
My sister said she's got a gift card idea for that. So she's got a gift card for that. So
awesome. Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Yeah, let me know how the egg went.
I mean, that could be pretty neat stuff. You know what I mean? Like just the sensory deprivation of just floating there too. I've heard from people that you almost forget that you're like floating on your back, like you don't like you're almost like in space, you know what I mean? Because there's no pressure points, you know, you're not
Right.
laying on, you know. I also wanted to try a bunch of different things. I wanted to try because I'm a firm believer that everybody could tap into the other side of the veil.
Right.
Some people just need a little extra help, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
and I feel that like doing the Delco experiment would help somebody. Like that's why I invented it, was for me, like to test it and do it, and like for
I
us,
thought
like as
it's
a
because you
team.
wanted to see the Demogorgon.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to see Demogorgons.
You wanted to fight him.
But you know, and then it just became popular and people wanted to use them and start selling them. But the main reason that I tried them is because to help me get into that meditative state, because you know, I'm not good at that. You know, I have ADD or whatever it is, and I'm always thinking about something, and
That's
just
my
to kind of
problem.
help. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm always thinking like, so I can't, it's hard for me to relax and like get into that state.
Yeah.
But I think that doing these sensory deprivation type experiments would help you tap into the other side of the veil, being that you're kind of getting into that subconscious, into that state. I also wanted to try like weighted blanket, you know, Delco with a weighted blanket
Right.
over you, kind of like, you know, they've done that too with the Gansfeld experiment. Looking back at some of these old CIA tests that they were doing, like MK Ultra and some of the other type tests back in the 70s, you know, they had and the parapsychology
Yeah.
stuff they were doing, and like the Gateway Project and all that. So yeah, I think that's those obviously those guys are smarter than me. So I take a lot of that stuff that they were doing and you know, kind of look backwards at time, because that kind of all faded away. But I think that
Yes, that's the
well,
problem.
at least to the public eye,
Yeah.
Well, Mike,
you know.
you know, my daughter just graduated Florida State with a neurology degree.
Oh,
Yeah, so
really?
she knows how to
Yeah, a little
use one of those
there.
computers. We can put it on your brain and see how fucked up you really are. We can
Yeah.
see. There we go.
That's why I can do it, because I'm the opposite. I'm laid back. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of that old stuff, like you said, it's kind of disappeared, and everybody is just about let's find a ghost and not let they like the side of the parapsychology about telekinetic energy and psychic ability kind of moved away, and it went more to just investigating, you know.
Yeah.
And it's changed a lot. There's not as many people trying to do it, real experiments and real research to help advance that stuff, you know.
Yeah, and
It died out a bit.
even like going back all the way back to the age of spirituality, like back in the early 1900s with, you know, them doing table levitation and all that stuff. There's something there to that, even though it sounds wild. There's got to be
Right.
something to it,
Yeah,
right?
and so and
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff was debunked in different things, you know, the Fox sisters and some
Yeah,
of that stuff. But there's something there that was also not BS. You know, there was
Right.
stuff there in the spiritual, you know, when doing seances and some of the other stuff that they were doing and doing these things. And you know, there's something to be said about the human mind and the human connection, the human side, because what we're trying to tap into is still human, you know, not all of it, but some of it, most of it.
Right.
um and there's something there, you know, there is something there that we believe, and it's just getting
well,
yourself
there's a part in your brain that has a connection to the other side. I'm no scientist and I forgot what it's called, but I know there's something that even like doctors, like neurologists have, you know, discovered that there is like something in your brain that connects you to the other side. So I don't
Right.
know. Could be
Yeah, I
something.
mean, you go far back in all these different cultures all over the world, that before they even
Mhm.
had communication with each other, when all the countries were separated and we weren't crossing the oceans yet, and you look back at some of these indigenous people, and they all had um you know, counts of spirituality, spiritualism, things coming down from the sky, people talking amongst each other, talking
Right.
to their ancestors and their people that lived before them, and getting knowledge from their ancestors and different things, and all that. Just, I mean, it can't be a coincidence, right?
Right. No, no, absolutely.
So going back to our Haunted Files episode, season 4, there will be a future episode with the Dr. Bill Slevin. So be on the lookout
That's
for
what I'm
that.
hearing.
Yeah, that's in the
No,
works.
I'm excited.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Hopefully we can make it happen for sure.
Yeah.
So, Bill, we're getting to that part of the show. So this is where you just tell everyone like what's going on, like where they can find you. You're like all at every single Paracon, all across like the East Coast.
I was I was all over this last year, but still waiting for a lot of the confirmations of things. But right
Okay.
now, I have I'm gonna get the dates wrong. I think it's March 14th at Sunrise Comic Con down here in Sunrise, Florida. I don't have the official word to announce MegaCon, which is the following weekend in March, but keep an eye out for that. About MegaCon.
That's in
That's always
Orlando.
fun. Yeah, that's MegaCon's always fun. I mean, it's 4 days of madness. There's like 200,000 people, and it's crazy.
Wow.
At the panel, we did 6 panels last year, and it was just packed, 500 people, wall to wall. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of.
Years ago, when my daughter was doing competitive cheer, we were up in Orlando at one of those convention centers when the MegaCon was going on. So they had people with like all these costumes on, and then they had cheerleaders like all over the place. It was crazy.
Well, I'll
Is
tell
that
you one
is
real
that the
quick.
one that I came to where I swapped out a pair of goggles for you? I came up in
Um,
Orlando.
That was one of yeah. That's where you came up. That was the time we were upstate. That was about 3 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was huge. It took me 45 minutes just to walk through and in, and I had the VIP badge from Bill, and I still it was crazy how many people and how many vendors and stuff. It was nuts.
It's insane. We have to at least go 30 to 40 minutes before our panel to be able to get to the panel room, because you
it's
can't walk
huge.
through the people. It's so big. But those shows are a lot of fun. We meet a lot of people. I mean, we help a lot of people there. People come up to us a lot of problems, but it's just a lot of fun. I mean, everybody there is just having a good time, and it is overwhelming. Like when you come out of there, I don't want to talk about ghosts for a while.
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure.
4 days of madness. But so I also have the one I am really excited about is the last weekend in July. I think it's like the 30th to the 1st of August or whatever, is the first ever New Orleans Paracon.
Oh, cool.
This is fantastic. You could go out there now. They have great packages with hotel deals and everything. It's in the French Quarter. There's going to be panels. There's going to be workshops. Like I'm there 2 of the days. I'm going to be actually teaching classes on how to do proper residential investigations. They're not regular panels. They're actually workshops. There's also panels we're going to have. It's me and Father Ken, Father Bob Bailey, Johnny Zaffis, Patty Negri. There's a lot of people that are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that one. Everything else.
Patty is in one of our episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Patty Negri. Yep.
Actually, every person you just mentioned there is awesome. We had Bob Bailey just on the show recently. I'm friends with Ken. Johnny Zaffis, obviously. He's
been on our show a few times. Amazing guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be such a fun event because there's so many things going on. There's ghost hunts at night that we're going to be part of, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of other stuff. I don't have all the confirmations yet to announce them, but if anybody wants me for anything, whether it's a book signing, a convention, a podcast, anything, they can contact my manager, Asia, at asia@methodical.com, or if you go to my website under my bookings page, you'll see all her information there. She keeps track of my schedule and everything because
he does weddings and bachelorette parties, just to let people know.
We can do that too. But I was lucky last year because of the book. I was taken around I was in Canada, Tennessee, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I really do enjoy the conventions. I love meeting everybody and talking to them. I'll sit there all day and just talk to you. I have fun with them.
Yeah, I like them too.
So, and
very
then, of
cool.
course,
So I was
just going to say the book. The book is on Amazon. If I could say one thing real quick, I didn't bring this up. So I do have another book that I don't even really advertise yet. I think I had it at the Davy Schoolhouse there. This is a journal. So if you go on ghost hunts, you go on investigations and whatever, and you want to log what you're doing, we set this up so that it goes case by case, and it actually has like the format that my team uses. So every page is,
nice.
I think there's like 15 or so pages per case, and it holds 10 cases. It does the format of your actual research, moon phases, everything. So you can log your, events in here. So it's something it's on Amazon. I haven't even advertised it on Facebook or anything yet, but people have been, I was up in St. Augustine right after Christmas, and I did a book signing at Ghost Augustine, and people were buying them there as they were going on to their ghost tours with Ghost Augustine, and they really liked it. So seems like people are pretty interested in it.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Kind of makes
Something
everything
different.
a little bit easier for
Yeah.
people that are logging there. And why not? Why not log it? Even if you're not even doing a case and you're just doing out there investigating and doing things, log it, see what's going on. Just like when you go fishing, I mean, it's very important. Barometric pressure, moon phases, temperature, what month was it, what time, and then if you go back and you investigate the same area and you can look at, say, all right, listen, we were getting most activities at this time during this moon phase or something. It's just
Right.
more information the better.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And I got the link right there where
Yes.
his website and below, so everything's linked to that, right?
Yeah, everything I put on there, I have in my news page, and there and Facebook are my two main things, but I have pretty much all the social media. But yeah, that's the best place.
Awesome, Bill. Thank you so much. It was awesome. It's great to see you.
Thank
Great
you,
to
sir.
talk to you as always.
Of course. Thanks for
Make
having
sure
me.
you check out billslevin.com and follow him on social media. Check out what he's got going on and new upcoming events. For me, if you want to see any of my personal social media, it's easy just to go to my website, flaparanormalresearcher.com, and that links out to all my social media. And also there is the hauntedfiles.com for upcoming information and different things. And most of all of our events and different things that we will be attending, we'll post that on our Instagram, the Haunted Files on Instagram.
Get the Delco goggles.
Yeah. And I said I see some new people in the chat, and thank you for hopping on and watching, and please subscribe and like. It helps us out a lot. Were you finished, Mike? I like that all.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, man. Go for it. All you.
And me, you can follow me. I'm Eric Vanderlaan on Facebook, and Ghost Hunter South Florida on Instagram, TikTok, and an unactive YouTube. But if you want to see some old stuff, check it out.
Yeah, exactly. And some, like you said, some of you guys that are popping in here a little bit late in the after this episode, yeah, please, as soon as we're done, it'll be uploaded and you could rewatch it. You can check it out. You can see some of our older episodes if you want to check that out. We really appreciate it. And if you subscribe and you hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, you'll be alerted when we go live every Monday night. So we really appreciate you guys checking us out and logging in and coming in and seeing all our special guests, and especially a big thank you to Bill. And we will see you again next Monday. Anything else anybody wants to add before we get out of here?
No, sir.
Good.
Awesome. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Keep it spooky.
Peace.